Right, my computer dies.
Plug it in, bitch.
No, it's plugged.
Okay.
It's not plugged.
It'll
Tell me when it's not.
Okay. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the James Franco podcast. Franco and I are just talking about the crazy shit, and we realized we should have just started recording. So
we've been talking for an hour about so many cool things, and then we were like, "Oh, they're never gonna know."
We were wanting to shoot this shit a little bit, get the juices flowing, before we got into it, and then got into it without recording. So here we are. Real quick, thank you everybody for watching episode 1 and for everything that everyone has ever said to us. Thank you for all the praises, and the glory and the honors is yours now and forever.
I wasn't expecting that.
I'm going to be 100% transparent with everybody. We are recording this episode before we put out the first episode because we're finalizing some of the assets as far as the designs and the logos and the branding and stuff for the channels. So we haven't had a chance to ask any questions for this podcast, but just know this one's about to be a doozy because we got energy. It's vibrating. How are you feeling, Franco?
I'm feeling great, dude. I just want to get into this. Dude.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. Wasting too much time.
Okay, so real quick, what were the things that you wanted to cover, and then I'll sort of jump into where you and I had just left off.
Right. That's the best way to do it when you just start talking about something to jump right into the middle of it.
Like in the middle of the page of the book I'm reading.
Okay, so some of the ideas we had for today to talk about was the Mandela effect. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the Mandela effect, named after Nelson Mandela.
James is going to remind me later what that means.
Yeah, I'm going to remind him later about that whole thing because Franco, for some reason, has never heard of that. We're also going to talk about possibly Planet X, also referred to as Nibiru, also possibly referred to as wormwood.
Okay. They put wormwood in absinthe nowadays.
I thought it was a planet. But the thing we were just talking about are giants. Supposed evidence of giants having existed and roamed the earth like 10, 20 years ago. in the distant past. In the
center, in the center of the hollow earth.
Mm-hmm. They're living it up down there, man. And again, we're having fun with this. This is for entertainment. We're going to talk about any of the crazy shit that comes to our minds. Are we going to prove it? No. Are we going to disprove it? Definitely not. Are we going to talk about it like it's real? Abso-fucking-lutely. So enjoy, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
So some of the things we were just saying about giants, Franco has this crazy book that is some sort of, I guess, just maybe more...
It's basically a biblical approach of like the
Book of Genesis,
this kind of stuff. Yeah, like Genesis and Enoch and some of the
all the crazy lore in the Bible, all the Old Testament stuff that is like incredible. But it's briefly talked about in Spark. The thing about the Bible that I always thought was so funny and interesting is that some of the most insane, epic, nuts shit, like world-breaking, altering shit, is said in just one sentence. It's like how after Jesus rose from the dead and he was talking, or he came to the apostles in their house and just phased through the wall, walked right into the room, and all it said is that he opened their mind to understanding the scriptures in one sentence, one verse that said that. Do you realize what that means? There was something going on in that room that literally you can't understand. So anyways.
It means you can't understand unless your mind is open.
Exactly.
And your mind isn't open unless you're one of the chosen ones. I just pissed off so many people. Just joking.
I know.
I don't know. I don't think I'm fully joking.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm not joking.
Take that back. I fully believe in this. James, real quick, are we recording the camera on this?
Yes.
Oh, we are? Oh, okay, cool. I thought you were just recording audio.
You didn't know I recorded video last week?
No.
Yeah, I did. I recorded. So I'm literally recording this.
Every podcast I ask you, because I think I asked you last time.
Wait, are you recording this? Yeah, dude. We're live, baby. Dude, it'd be really cool one day to do this live.
Yeah.
Do a live stream of it on my Twitch. Ooh,
that'd be fun.
Okay, let's get into it. So some of the brief things that we had talked about just to catch everyone up is the idea that there were giants roaming the earth in ancient times, and there are supposed remains that have been excavated, in different archaeological digs in different places. I think I can look up a couple places, but obviously suppressed, right? Because those kind of discoveries, that would change the way people understand history in the world. If all of a sudden it's like, okay, so this is that we just found the remains of a 36-foot giant, 100% human. Or 50% human, 50% alien.
50% and Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what I was reading. So first of all, let me just go over the table of contents of this book. So yeah, it was Canaanite versus Israelite, scale of biblical post-flood giants, pre-flood timeline, six-finger X-ray. I don't know what that means.
Six-finger what?
X-ray. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I think it means what it means.
Like there's six fingers in a hand?
Yeah.
Of what?
Of a giant. Well, because so in does it say in Genesis that the Nephilim were basically the sons of man, right? Angels, fallen angels had mated with women,
yes,
human women, and then that created these hybrids that were Nephilim, that were giants.
Yeah.
Which also sucks, man. I feel bad for all of the women.
Well, I don't know how it actually happened.
Right, but that's the way they put it. And you want to get crazy with it, that's like hybridization, genetic manipulation and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, even that kind of stuff, even in the Bible, it talks about the different seed lines. It straight up says that in the first few books of Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know. I can read into it is about giants and stuff. It is here. There's an X-ray with 6 fingers. But let me read the other stuff real quick. Okay. So there's Genesis, Enoch, Jasher, Jubilees. Then Og, Bashan versus Israelite. Chart of Hebrew. I don't know what that means. Giants at Baalbek. Tower of Babel, like Ziggurat in Iraq. Adam to Exodus timeline, Last Judgment, and New Jerusalem, Confusion of Tongues. Anyway, so there's all cool stuff. So here, where I was looking at with the giant section.
One second.
Okay. Are you reading a text? No.
I was just tweeting.
Oh.
I was just tweeting that we're recording the second episode and we're talking about giants.
Okay.
Get that hype up. Continue.
Anyway, okay, so here's a book in the Bible. Amos. Yet destroyed I the Amorite before them, whose height was like the height of cedars, and it was as strong as the oak. Okay? And then we have this other one. So here's the one that got us talking, right? There we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which, by the way, so this happens once the Israelites are in the wilderness and they're moving into the promised land.
So for everybody who has no familiarity with the Bible or anything, basically you've seen the movie The Prince of Egypt, or you know the idea of Moses freeing all the Israelites from
Let my people
go. So this is after the Israelites left Egypt and were in Exodus, which is their migration to the promised land. And that took so long.
40 years.
40 years of literally them just traveling. And so this was at some point in that 40 years.
Yeah. So first of all, they were enslaved with the Egyptians under Pharaoh forever before then. Okay. Yet, after they left Egypt and they went through the desert for almost the entire 40 years, then they come across the promised land, and Joshua sends in his spies. And the 2 spies, they come back with a report saying
his rebel spies.
saying that they saw giants in the land.
That's crazy.
They knew Anak by name enough to say that. Sorry, I thought my wife was
Dude, a giant just rips through the wall and like grabs you.
Oh, yeah. Offers me some Kool-Aid. Okay. And the sons of Anak were there. So they said, we found giants in the land. The sons of Anak were there. So first of all, they've been in captivity for all this time, went through the desert for all this time, yet they knew who the sons of Anak were. So the sons of Anak and Anak himself, they had to know who these people were. It had to be commonplace on earth to know who these people were in order for them to be able to just call them by name like that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. And so we weren't. So they were like grasshoppers. And I believe that later on, what you'll notice is that in that land, they dragged a bush of grapes back to their camp with the Israelites, and the grapes were like huge. They were
That's insane.
To scale of what a giant would eat. Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
I know.
A massive grape.
I know, alien grapes. So anyway, here's the scale, right? So Goliath here, they have him at 12 feet to 18 feet. And I don't know, I'm just reading this book.
Right. This is all. Let me just clarify for everybody. And Franco, you'll learn eventually. Not everybody has the same frame of reference and context and perspective that you or I might have. So I'll be the one that kind of tries at least to clarify things a little bit. So
I expect everybody to understand everything that I'm saying and not question it.
and not question it. So Franco's just reading from this book. And again, this is all entertainment, you guys.
Yep.
You hear me?
Okay. Yes.
I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to them.
Okay, well, I need to charge my computer in 2 seconds. But early Canaanites, they were described as 24 feet to 36 feet.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so those are all the cool things, and the part that really stood out to us was the fact that in that time, like, let's just think about it for a second, and hypothetically, this was all true, right? That at the time in the earth, it was normal for even slaves to know who this Anak person is and who the giants were, enough to be able to identify them when they came into the Promised Land.
Yeah, stop tapping your finger.
Oh.
No, I know that shit's crazy, but even from like a non-biblical standpoint, there are. Have you heard of Gigantopithecus?
No, I haven't.
So Gigantopithecus was a giant ape species that went extinct like a few 100,000 years ago, but they are believed to have stood up to 10 feet tall or bigger. So a giant ape, an ancestor to humanity, has already been observed to have been massively larger than what we think humans are capable of. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's possible. There's possibilities for there to be like a humanoid species, whether it was an offshoot of Homo sapien or like before Homo sapiens, broke off, it was like a different offshoot or something that were giant. And
so if you think about it to scale, right, that would be like taller than if you took Kevin Hart and Yao Ming and stood them right next to each other and Kevin Hart looked up. That would be like Yao Ming looking up the same amount of distance pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to throw my man Kevin Hart under the bus like that? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Have you seen that picture?
He'll come under our show one day.
Yeah, sure. Have you seen the picture of him standing next to Shaq?
No, I haven't.
It's a good one. He looks like a child. Wow, yeah. And I mean, what was I going to say? I don't know, keep talking.
Okay, I'm gonna. You think about that. I'm gonna bring my charger.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I mean, there are remains of things.
Yeah, but I mean, all the sources of those remains and all the images and stuff can't be confirmed. You know what I mean?
Not even that, though. I'm talking about things that have been confirmed. Like, for example, those skulls in Peru.
The elongated skulls.
Yeah.
So there are cultures that were able to do that, and they had systems that would like
they would put wood between their ears, and that would cause the brain to grow.
Yeah, they basically like probably from a small child when like a child's skull is very like a baby, how like their skull isn't fully formed or fully closed. Like starting at a young age, you can manipulate the size and shit like that. Like it was, I don't understand the significance behind it, but like there were ways that they were able to do that naturally that would cause the skull to look like that. But at the same time, I mean, even like the crystal skulls that they found, you know, that were made, like one of the things that fucking makes me go crazy is all the like technology that was probably lost. Like how were certain things able to be made like with 100% precision? Like
pyramids.
Well,
like pyramids. A giant could easily explain pyramids.
Yeah, true. Or I think some sort of like electromagnetic manipulation, like some sort of device that they had that we have no fucking idea how they did it, but they figured out some way to like manipulate electromagnetism in order to lift them into place. You know what I mean? Like they had some device that was just lost in time and lost records and shit that used something like vibration and something like electromagnetism to like move these things, move these objects, rather than like one stone at a time being moved on giant logs pulled by 100 people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or even like that water system that they believed where like it would be carried up on this water tunnel upwards onto the top where there was like a lake where they were floating and shit. Like, I don't know. But I was going to look at this story about Ferdinand Magellan. But then the headline of the article is fantastically wrong. Magellan's strange encounter with the 10-foot giants of Patagonia.
10-foot giants of Patagonia. What? Let's read this. What was it? Why does it say it's wrong? And why wouldn't they kill him? Why wouldn't they be known? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that like why isn't there more record of this? Well, because let's be honest. What usually happens to indigenous people?
I mean, they're wiped out, but there's also parts of the world that haven't been. There's also indigenous tribes that haven't been wiped out.
Well, yeah, the Sentinelese Islands. That's like the only one that's never been touched by the outside world. I think it's entirely believable that there are entire civilizations and cultures and tribes that were completely wiped out, no records kept. You know, like.
I guess so.
There wasn't always a written record, you know, because it was usually oral tradition how things were passed down. But I don't know.
Okay, so it says early European accounts describe these giants within Patagonia.
Because they went to the island.
And they're 12 to 15 feet high.
I'm just trying to find the part that says it's bullshit.
Can you imagine? Okay, I don't know if it's true or not, but can you imagine actually seeing them in real life? You'd freak out, dude. You'd freak out.
What, to see an actual giant?
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of things that would freak you out, existentially. Like the day that aliens are confirmed to be real. But then you have to think, okay, are they actually real, or is that a distraction from the government?
I guess,
because of the technology, like the technology that was recovered from UFOs and was then reverse engineered, where the government has been able to make their own flying saucers in a way, and also like technology and vehicles and crafts that we have no idea could have already existed for 20 plus years, but we've never seen them because they're not put into production and not on public record and shit. They're all top secret classified technology and vehicles and shit. And they could just use those ships and call them spaceships. You know what I mean? And like say, oh no, an alien invasion. I have to put the world into executive order martial law and everyone has to listen to me because of the aliens. You know what I mean? Who said that? Fucking Ronald Reagan, dude. Ronald Reagan said, I think it was in a speech to the UN, he said, I often think if the world faced an otherworldly threat from extraterrestrials, would we finally set aside our differences and unite as one world, one race, one people to face that threat? And like, that's a crazy thing.
The truth is, I don't see anything bad with that. But I do see something bad when it's corrupt.
With what?
Ultimately, with
what?
a one world government.
Oh yeah. But here, well, if we've learned anything,
if you think about it, actually, the best form of government is a kingdom under a perfect king.
Well, yeah, but then that doesn't exist.
Just think of T'Challa.
That doesn't exist, though, and that never has existed.
Kingdom of God.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't exist on Earth in human history. But that's
Dude, on Earth as it is in heaven.
Oh man.
It just started annoying you now.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're getting a little bit off tangent, or I'm going on a tangent, or I'm trying to figure out what the fuck, where to go with all this. So let's just pause for a second.
I'm looking it up on Wikipedia. I don't see anything discrediting it. Probably just somebody with an opinion, James. It's a person who wrote it's wrong. It might just be an opinion. Maybe if they weren't there, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the bottom line, is that we don't know. But let's talk about the Nephilim.
Okay.
Because
dude, in the future, like I want to talk about things like how some people believe the center of the Earth,
Hollow Earth.
Sure. Yeah, the whole thing, the land in the center of the Earth and things like that. I want to talk about like how the Sphinx came about and a lot of things like that, which we're probably going to get into right now with the Nephilim. But anyway,
for sure. And also what's his name, the admiral that flew into the Hollow Earth. It happened right after World War II. What was his name? Admiral Flynn, maybe? I think was his name. But he was in charge of this fleet that went down to Antarctica. And they supposedly chased Nazis down to Antarctica who had their base down there. And their mission was...
Richard Byrd.
Yes, Admiral Byrd. Their mission was to basically like exterminate the Nazis that fled down there and don't let them get away and don't let them continue doing the shit down there that they're doing. And so they went down there and also try to recover like any of the shit they were working on and stuff. So they went down there, and then Admiral Byrd talked about how he was literally flying in a plane and flew into the earth, like into an opening into the earth, and then went through this cavern in a plane and then came out to an entire open hollow earth with a civilization, with a city.
Why would he think of doing that?
And I don't think it was like he went downwards. I think it was like probably a mountain with an opening that he flew into.
Like a hangar? He thought it was a hangar?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Admiral Byrd.
We got really off track, huh?
We did. Oh boy, did we. So we were talking about giants. Do we have anything else to say about giants? Maybe next time. I don't know. Let's move on though, because I don't think damn. So the fucking conversation we were having before was better and it was more focused. And then I think it just like
because we should have hit record.
We ruined the momentum. We ruined the momentum of it by stopping recording and trying to get back into it.
Yeah, we did that twice.
Ooh, Operation High Jump.
Yeah, let's talk about this right now. And if anybody has questions about Nephilim and about giants and stuff, you can always ask them. We can always reference it later.
Yeah.
We're just session right now.
We're just session, dog. That's what this is, man. It's literally us seshing and talking about crazy shit. So Medal of Honor, this is according to Medium.com, and Medium.com is also similar to Wikipedia, where you can upload your own articles. But we're going to go ahead and read it anyways. Medal of Honor recipient Admiral Richard E. Byrd allegedly wrote his encounter with a lost civilization in Antarctica. According to Hollow Earth theorists, Byrd met an ancient race of underground in the South Pole. According to Byrd's diary, the government ordered Byrd to remain silent for what he witnessed during his Arctic assignment. And then this appears to be an excerpt from the diary. March 11th, 1947. I have just attended a staff meeting at the Pentagon. I have stated fully my discovery and the message from the master. Whoa. All is duly recorded. The president has been advised. I am now detained for several hours, 6 hours, 39 minutes to be exact. I am interviewed intently by top security forces and a medical team. It was an ordeal, wasn't it, Byrd? I am placed under strict control via the national security provisions of the United States of America. I am ordered to remain silent in regard to all that I have learned on the behalf of humanity. Incredible. I am reminded that I am a military man and I must obey orders. That's crazy.
My God. So, who's the master?
Ooh, yeah, that's why I stopped there, because I was like, what a thing to say. What a thing to say and then not elaborate on. By the master. Capital M, by the way.
Yeah, and it's just nuts to think that, like, people either they didn't know and they interviewed him to find out, or they knew and they were like, how much did you find out?
It's all about a suppression of information, because if evidence for things come out, it shatters the control system that has been established over the years. You know what I mean? So yeah, some say the American government sent their troops to the South Pole for any evidence of the rumored German base 211. So that's, I guess, the name of the base that was in. Oh, fuck, man. Now I want to talk about all the Antarctica theories and shit and conspiracies. Nazis.
I don't see any of this on Wikipedia, by the way.
Okay. I'm just on medium.com. Nazis were fascinated with anything regarding the Aryan race. They traveled all over the world, including Antarctica, to learn more of alleged origins. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure.
So you know about that? I heard that they actually believed in a civilization that lived under the earth. By the way, the Bible talks about that, and they believed that the whole Aryan thing was because of that race that was under the earth was of pale skin, kind of like, or something. They were just pale skin, pale hair, pale everything, and that's just what they believed in. I don't know what it actually looked like. Okay, and then, as I was saying, they believed that the mark of Cain was that pale skin.
That's strange. Man, it all...
There's a lot of things to say, right?
There's a lot, man. I'm getting overwhelmed. Dude.
Well, in the Bible...
No, I'm just trying to like think of a way to... not concisely, because it doesn't matter. But like just...
No, we're just...
kind of have like more of a
direction?
More of a direction, you know, because like...
An end.
Yeah, I mean, so we're done talking about giants right now unless it comes up again. Now we're talking about Agartha, which is the Hollow Earth. So the master that he refers to is the city's leader.
Cain.
Oh my God, dude. That's crazy. Okay, so he met the master, the city's leader, who told him of his concerns about the surface world. Our interest rightly begins just after your race exploded the first atomic bombs. Oh, fuck. That's one of the craziest things to me that supports aliens, is that the Roswell incident, 1947, I believe, is when that incident happened. It's not until we detonated an atomic bomb that the aliens or the ETs out there were like, whoa, we need to take a closer
Earth
look.
Is ready for another form of war.
Or the unnatural, like, nature of doing something like that. I think it's very unnatural. Like, forcefully splitting an atom and releasing that energy. It's
magic.
It's an unnatural thing. It goes against like the order of things. You know what I mean? And that level of power is so destructive that it like creates ripples. Like when they detonated the Tsar Bomba, which is the largest ever detonated atomic bomb, something like 1,500 megatons, totally wrong number probably, but an unfathomable amount of energy that was released, and it went so far into the sky that it like they were afraid that that it would permanently like disrupt the atmosphere. It was that big of an explosion, and it went further up into the stratosphere and everything than any other thing that ever like detonated. But the idea that act of detonating an atomic bomb and having that technology and using it was like made the aliens like have to want to have like a closer observation and see like what the fuck we're doing with all this shit. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if it's, I don't know, it's crazy to think about. Like you think like, okay, if an alien race exists and they're advanced enough to have the type of technology they do, then they probably advanced, spiritually, psychologically past the point of being destructive like that. You know what I mean? Like they realized the value of life and the order of the universe, so they wouldn't be violent. But
you'd hope.
I mean, then again, like it all depends on what it is, what kind of aliens they are and shit. But it's interesting here that's when their interest started. So I'm going to continue reading.
Sure.
It was that alarming time we sent our flying machines, the Flugelrads, to your surface world to investigate what your race had done. Whoa.
What? Can you spell that for me?
Flugelrads.
Okay.
So
is that the UFO thing?
Maybe. You see, we have never interfered before in your race's wars and barbarity, but now we must, for you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for your man, mainly that of atomic energy.
That's a German word, and it is, you look at it and it's literally just pictures of flying saucers.
That's crazy.
Google it.
I'll Google it? Okay.
If you Google it, you have to. Anyway, keep reading.
Yeah, mainly that of atomic energy. Our emissaries have already delivered messages to the power of your world, and yet they do not heed. So apparently the government knew about Agartha. According to the master, places such as Tibet, the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the North Pole all have tunnels leading to Agartha. Wow.
Wait, the Giza, North Pole, and what else? Pyramid of Giza?
Places in Tibet.
Tibet. Why?
Okay, wait a minute. What was I reading? Okay, I was reading something about the Vatican secret archives the other day, and it mentioned something about I hope this is correct. Remember, James, that there's a temple in Tibet that's supposedly underground. It has a lot of like chambers and secret hidden places that are storing things like ancient artifacts and stuff, and that there are giants' bones underneath this temple, like preserved.
Wow.
That's
nuts.
It's crazy, and this might totally be like created to be that way, but it's weird because there are certain things that like I feel like link together certain conspiracy theories, and like little pieces that are like also here and like over here, like, oh, this temple in Tibet is believed to have an entrance to Agartha. Oh, but they also are housing giants' bones. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just wish we knew. It'd be so crazy to like go to these places, but you can't. You just can't go to some places and like just walk right into the Vatican and be like, I'm going downstairs to the archives. I believe this letter from the Pope should suffice.
Yeah, I wonder who can go in there.
I don't think anyone can, unless I think it takes like, you have to get, and
the Vatican's their own country too, right?
Technically, it's its own state, the papal state.
So, that's crazy. So who do they answer to?
The Vatican?
Yeah.
Good question, man. I mean, technically, that's a good question. I'm going to Google that. Vatican City. Let's see. Vatican City State. The Holy See's independent city-state enclaved within Rome. A district territory under full ownership, exclusive dominion, and sovereign authority and jurisdiction of the Holy See. What is the Holy See? S-E-E. The See of Rome. There's the jurisdiction of the Bishop of Rome, known as the Pope, which includes the Apostolic Episcopal See of the Diocese of Rome. So the Holy See.
The all-seeing eye. Just joking.
No, I know. Haha. Wow. The jurisdiction of the Pope, basically. So the Pope is like the final word of authority in Vatican City. But
who does the Pope answer to?
God.
No, I mean, like, what about, like, nationally speaking? Oh, so it's literally just their own country.
Pretty much.
Dude, that's extremely powerful.
It's extremely powerful. And, like, the Pope is the head of that country, basically. Wow.
And he can't be wrong. Just joking.
That's crazy, actually. That's crazy. So, it would be the Pope. So I'm curious because I've heard things like the reason why the president doesn't know about certain confidential things within the government and like doesn't know about aliens and stuff like that or publicly talk about it is because they're not disclosed certain classified information because the president is technically a temporary position that transfers. Yeah. So they're not on a need-to-know basis for some things, which is crazy. So I'm curious, is the Pope also like that? So maybe the Pope isn't actually the final power. Maybe there are like the other sects, like the, what are they called? The Jesuits and stuff, like the certain sects. And maybe there are certain people in power within the Vatican and within the church that actually have the power because they're the ones that are like actually doing it, you know? Mm-hmm. Fuck, I don't know, man. It's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. So let's get back to the city.
To what the guy was talking about, right? Okay. You were reading it.
Yeah, I think I already finished it. Yeah. So
said it was under the South Pole.
Yeah, under Antarctica.
Antarctica, yeah. That would make sense.
I want to read something else about this guy. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, so this is an article, New York Times article from 1988. Body of Admiral Byrd's son, 68, found in empty warehouse.
Wait, hold on. What?
This is an article from New York Times from 1988. The headline says, Body of Admiral Byrd's son, 68, found in empty warehouse. Richard E. Byrd Jr., who lived his life in the shadow of his father, the admiral and Arctic explorer, was found dead last week in the darkness of an abandoned warehouse in Baltimore. His emaciated body clad in dirt-blackened clothes and one scuffed shoe, the police said. The 68-year-old Mr. Byrd, a graduate of Harvard University, who was a young naval officer, escorted his father on a journey to Antarctica in 1947, apparently died of malnutrition and dehydration. Wow, what? The body was discovered Monday by a custodian who said he had chased Mr. Byrd and another man from the area on September 28th. According to Detective Charles Gilbert of the Baltimore Police Homicide Squad, it was unclear, the police said, how the elderly member of a prominent Massachusetts family had come to wander and sleep in an area of warehouses and factories. He was just wearing a shirt and pants and one shoe, and they all looked dirty. I mean, I don't know, man. That might just be talking about the death of his son. There was nothing about this theory in that article, but that he died.
What is German base 211?
Oh no, let's get into it.
So it says here, I'm reading about him.
Dude, the government's like monitoring us right now, and they're like, "Fuck, man, they're following the pieces, dude. They're putting the shit together."
So anyway, I'm reading this, and it says, it's talking about Operation High Jump that he was a part of. Some say the American government sent the troops to the South Pole for any evidence of the rumored German base 211. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's read what that was. Dude, I'm getting so many ads for strollers and car seats right now.
Let's turn off my ad blocker. So this is from The Independent.
So during the Second World War, the Nazis carried out a number of strange experiments with...
Shut up! Not you. What? This ad just started playing automatically. Loud.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, our viewers can't hear that. Okay. During the Second World War, the Nazis carried out a number of strange experiments with alleged technologies unknown to the rest of the world in their attempt to rule the world. They searched the planet for mythical artifacts and otherworldly technology, hoping to come across a supreme power that would allow them to conquer the unconquerable. Mm-hmm. And then numerous alleged covert operations took place during the Nazi era, and one of the most memorable is that of the New Schwabenland and their enigmatic Base 211 located within Antarctica. Or New Swabia. So, New Schwabenland or New Swabia, I don't know how to pronounce it, is located on the Antarctic continent between 20 degrees east and 10 degrees west in Queen Maud Land. Okay, the land was explored in great detail by German Antarctic expedition, which even came across parts with warm, fresh water, ice-free areas, and vegetation, in an area where, according to science, everything is frozen. According to the geologists who participated in the German expedition, the areas where vegetation was present were due to hot springs or other geothermal sources. And they said, so there's a quote here that says, one of the most interesting quotes about this land and Antarctica comes from a German Navy Grand Admiral, Karl Donitz, who said that the German submarine fleet is proud to have built for the Führer in another part of the world a Shangri-La on land, an impregnable fortress.
Yeah, so that's what that base is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Up, like... reportedly,
that's what it says here. Yeah. And so apparently, his mission, Birds, was he was looking for this.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit! There's videos.
It's crazy that the Nazis would even looking for this.
Nothing is crazy when it comes to Nazis. Nothing is crazy.
I mean, their technology, the belief in the occult, all those things. Anyways, before I start reading this, were you going to say something?
No, I'm a little lost right now, to be honest.
Okay.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a hit. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm looking at the map of Agartha. I wonder how many people have tried to actually go through those different tunnels you're talking about.
That's a good question, man. If they're even there. And, like, if they can gain access to them and not be, like... I'm sure they're protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not going to put this in the podcast, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Rainbow City. What the fuck does that mean? Mountains that are higher than on the outside? What the fuck? Well, that would kind of make sense. I mean, the ocean is really deep.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, still...
Mountains within the earth, higher than like Mount Everest?
Yep, it says mountains higher than on the outside. It's just the Agartha map. Land of advanced races. A central sun? How can it be a central sun?
That's crazy, man.
That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense.
Spaceship base to and from other galaxies. What?
And then how do you get in and out? Oh, I see. So there's clouds and then a saucer to Venus. What the fuck, dude? That doesn't make any sense. Clouds? So it's its own atmosphere. The city of Shambhala.
I don't
So basically, you know that hole that you hear people screaming? Like that huge hole.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. That shit's terrifying.
So if that's not, if that, then that can't be real, or unless they're hearing like just people in Agartha.
Yeah, or a natural explanation, such as like the temperatures that it was down there and the equipment that was used. It could have, I don't even know. Or it's a hoax to begin with, because the only thing it was like, I think a radio station got it and was like, no, what we're about to play for you might be difficult to hear. So there's an...
Okay. No, what? What?
No, I'm just looking at this map also.
Okay, King Solomon's Mines.
What is that?
Pyramid of Giza. I don't know.
Hey, everybody who's listening along right now, we're going all over the place, but that's how we do it, baby. Anything that pops into our head, we're gonna look up and figure the fuck out, because there's gotta be something here. We're proving it. We're proving it today.
Test on atom blast. Cold air rushes back to Earth through center of shaft. Saucer to Venus, melting ice. Spaceship based to and from other galaxies. Wait, who fucking did this?
Right below it says inside the hollow Earth via Big Think.
I know, but who? Like, what? Like, how do you know any of this is real?
Well, yeah, man, that's the big question.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, like,
how do you know any of this is real? Or you mean like who drew it and what made them draw it? Like, what were they basing it on? Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. It says city, forest, ocean, spaceship base in what appears to be looks like a forest, mountains, cave city of semi-advanced race, land of advanced races, clouds, city of Shambhala, another city. So let's look how many maps are cities here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. Okay, so from left to right.
Yeah, but is this to scale though?
I mean.
What do you mean you don't know, Franco?
Okay, so here it goes. So city of Shambhala, 1, then another city right below it, 2. Cave city of semi-advanced race, semi-advanced. Why would you be living next to an advanced race and semi-advanced race? I don't get that. Okay, so that's 3. Then there's a spaceship base. It doesn't say city, so I'm not going to count it. Rainbow City. What does that even mean? And then keep going up towards the right, and you've got another city, right? And then you've got, so that's 5. And then you've got Agartha. And then underneath that, land of advanced races. So
is Agartha just the name of the whole thing? Or is it one city?
Oh, actually, I don't know.
Kentucky Mammoth Cave. So these are all entrances?
Yeah. Apparently.
Center of gravity.
Could people have confused El Dorado for whatever this is?
That's crazy.
Because there is, in Brazil, there is this...
Or Atlantis, too.
Or Atlantis, because, like, Brazil, look at it. There's a tunnel straight through it.
Yeah. Okay, hang on a second, because I want to look into... Kentucky Mammoth Cave.
And look, in his thing, he says, we have never interfered before in your race's wars. So they recognize us as a race, as humanity as having a race.
Yeah, as the human race versus whatever race they are. So it's a different race. So, one of the craziest theories, and then this just popped into my head. One of the craziest things I'd ever heard is that humans don't come from Earth. We come from Mars. But Mars was destroyed, from a nuclear fallout and like a nuclear battle. And so it destroyed and completely rendered Mars lifeless and basically destroyed the planet. But before that, humanity fled to Earth, the nearby planet, and established civilization here. So what if these races were here before that?
Some people think that there are humans who just went to other parts of the galaxy and now they come back and they're just more advanced. Mm-hmm. What if the Garden of Eden is our solar system? Just joking. I don't know.
Just joking. I actually really don't mean that. So this Kentucky Mammoth Cave is just a national park, and there's a massive cave system. Fuck, that's crazy. I don't even know, man. We have to find it. We have to find Agartha.
That's crazy. Who is the master? I wonder who that is.
Agartha master. Token rock, what's that? Agartha is a legendary city that is said to reside in the Earth's core. Shambhala, also known as blah blah blah, Shangri-La, is sometimes said to be its capital city. The mythical. Okay, so that's the whole. The whole area.
So the
and then the whole like area, the whole Hollow Earth like area is Agartha, and then Shambhala is its capital city. The mythical paradise of Shambhala is known under many different names. It has been called the Forbidden Land, the Land of White Waters, the Land of Radiant Spirits, the Land of Living Fire, the Land of the Living Gods, the Land of
the Land of
The
Wonders.
Land of Wonders. Hindus call it.
Have known it as Aryavarta. Reading the same thing you are.
Dude, and then we finish another sentence and we're like, whoa.
Okay, Hindus known it as Aryavarta.
Ooh, the land from which the Vedas came? That's crazy.
No, this one says literally the land or realm of the Aryans.
Those are just all the different things it's been referred to as.
The land of the worthy ones. The Vedas come? What's the Vedas?
The Vedas are like... Oh, man, I don't remember exactly what they are, but they're major... I think... Well, now I have to Google it, so I don't sound like an idiot. I just typed the wrong word into Google. I just like totally typed like random letters. They are the religious texts, the ancient religious texts that Hinduism is based on. Many Hindus consider the Vedas to be Aparuseya, which I probably pronounced incorrectly, which means not of a man or superhuman. So, divine, in a way. That's crazy. So, that those texts came from Agartha. There are allegedly several entrances to the kingdom of Agartha throughout the world. Some are planetary grid points, endwells and outwells of energy. So, Kentucky Mammoth Cave, Manaus, Brazil, Morona, Santiago in Ecuador, Mato Grosso in Brazil, Iguazu Falls in Brazil and Argentina, Mount Epomeo in Italy. It's crazy. Dude, so there's an entrance to the underground city of Shonshe, which I'm assuming is one of the cities that's in there. It's allegedly guarded by Hindu monks. Dude, imagine... Man, it's crazy. Imagine being like a monk at a monastery and your one mission in life is to protect the entrance and you don't even know what that entrance leads to.
Oh my gosh. Kind of like the Iron Fist.
Kind of like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you would love it so much. It literally then I won't say the ending because I'm just going to say the ending. Do you care?
No, go ahead and tell me.
Okay.
I will watch it, though, but go ahead and tell me.
It's really interesting. So it's about the Holy Grail. Basically, it's Indiana Jones versus the Nazis trying to find the Holy Grail. Like the actual goblet itself. And so they find this temple in stone, and they enter it, and it's like, you know, the Nazis there too, and they basically force Indiana Jones to go through this like test and this like entrance into this temple. And there's like all these like tests he has to face. Like one is he has to spell out the name of God on these stones that each have different like Hebrew letters on them.
Wow.
And he has to spell out the name of God, which is Jehovah. And then he's about to do it, but then he's like, no, that's not spelled with a J. It's spelled with an I. There's no J in the Hebrew language and shit. And so he does it correctly. And then, oh, dude, it's so epic. It's literally such an epic part of any movie ever. And so he finally makes it to the room at the end. And it's a room filled with treasure and different cups and goblets of every possible design you can imagine. Thousands of goblets made out of stone, made out of gold, made out of silver. And in that room is one knight, a crusader, like from the Dark Ages, like a knight who was, I'm assuming, blessed with immortality to guard that room forever. And so he's been there for like 1,000 years in that room, like waiting for somebody to come and find the room and pass the test. And the last test is you get one chance to pick the right goblet and drink from it and get everlasting life. But if you pick the wrong goblet, you'll be killed when you drink from it. And so the like main Nazi guy, like the Nazi leader that was like forcing him to go in there, finally like makes it into the room and is like, oh, okay, so we found it. Cool. And then he picks a goblet and drinks from it and literally fucking like decomposes and rots and turns into a skeleton like in an instant. And it's crazy. And so then Indiana Jones has to find the right one. And then the knight says like he has chosen unwise. And then so Indiana Jones is like trying to find the right one. And then he notices this smaller goblet, much more modest looking goblet that's hidden behind the others. It's made out of stone, and it looks like it almost has like, or maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but I'm remembering it having like an image or like design that kind of resembles the Last Supper painting in a way, but like probably not that. I think I'm just imagining that. I'm going to look up a picture of it real quick.
Okay. And then we do have to wrap up because I just noticed what time it is.
Jones. Okay.
This is all really interesting, though.
Okay. So, no, there's absolutely no design on it whatsoever. It's just stone. So he picks that cup and then drinks from it, and it's the right one. So he finds the Holy Grail, which is nuts. Nuts. Why
so does it live forever?
I guess technically. It definitely heals his father who had been shot. But then his father dies. Like, between movies. Oh, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull just fucked everything up. Because it ended so perfectly with this movie, and then they made that one, and like his dad had died, and it's like, yeah, actually, if he drank from the Holy Grail, he wouldn't die of old age, right? Anyways, do we have anything to wrap up before we get going? We could continue talking about this next week as well.
Let's talk about it next week.
Yeah, we've talked about so much shit, dude. We talked about giants. We talked about Agartha. We talked about everything. Vatican. Man, I'm sure there are probably a lot of unresolved questions and interesting directions we can go with this. So if you guys want us to clarify at all, let us know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed episode 1. This is episode 2. I hope you enjoyed episode 1. I won't have known yet because it's not technically out when we're recording this. But yeah, Franco, do you have anything to say?
Nah, just having fun.
Frank is having fun, everyone. We're having a great time. Man, see, the thing we have to worry about, though, for next time is not getting burnt out. Because I feel like there's so much information. There's so many, like, different rabbit holes you can go down. And it just, I seriously feel so burnt out right now.
Dude, what if Alice in Wonderland and going down the rabbit hole was all about Agartha?
And Wonderland is Agartha?
Oh, my gosh.
No, isn't that like a... doesn't she take mushrooms at the beginning? And that's pretty much what it is?
Oh, really? Oh,
I'm pretty sure. Doesn't she eat mushrooms at the beginning of the movie? Like she's following the rabbit and she sits down. Oh, I'm getting tired. Ooh, mushrooms. And then eats them and then has the entire experience. I'm pretty sure it's about like psychedelics. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's messed up.
I'm pretty sure. That might just be me misremembering again.
Just wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. So cool. Yo, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of the James Franco podcast. If you have any things you want us to talk about, any questions you want to ask us, the subreddit is going to be the place to do that. I'm going to make the subreddit right now. Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's been episode 2, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.